We had our managers come down, several from Cincinnati and all. And the first thing David Dree does is he kind of goes through the new faces, but he also recognizes the 25-year guys. And I know even though you guys weren't there, and he had some really nice things to say about all you guys. So it was good. And and one of the things he said was, Bill Kick's a superstar. He's done a fabulous job. And so he started kind of going through, what Bill's done, and Matt Graves, he chimed in and he listed them all out. So I'm going to have Matt come up and just recap, because it's better than what I have here. Yes. I'm not sure about that. It's going to hurt.
I should film Bill.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's what it was. He was trying to recall Bill's history, and Matt just chimed in. And,
Matt, was it a 14-ounce bass?
Hello, we have some fish stories
14
also.
Ounce bass?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I didn't really know Bill much when I came down to I was started in Dallas in 1997, and Bill was over on the north side of town. I didn't get to know him then, but when I moved up to Washington D.C., I got to know Bill, and Bill and I have become great friends since then. So I've got to know his history with Drees, and he's told me a lot of stories and a lot of things, and so David was trying to recall all the positions he's had with the company. He's got to have the record. Okay? He's absolutely got to have the record. So I think it started off as a builder in Washington, D.C. Hank Steining hired you, and that would have been 25 years ago, I'm assuming, right? Yeah. And what town in Washington, D.C. was that? Was that Fairfax or was
Fairfax?
Fairfax. And then you were in Washington, D.C. for how long?
Year and a half.
Year and a half, and then came down to Dallas to be a construction manager, or were you a builder? So he was doing such a great job in Washington, D.C. As a builder, they said, hey, we're the hottest market right now is in Dallas. We're going to take you down there. We need a construction manager that can anchor things. And so they brought Bill Kick down, and he's got a lot of great Hank Bill stories at that point in time. You're a construction manager in Dallas for a few years, 4 years, and then we went into the Raleigh market, and he went there as a construction manager starting off because we purchased a company there, and then became the division president for the Raleigh division. Is that right?
I don't even want to talk about that. That was not a good time.
Yeah, not all of it's good.
I'm not real good at that.
Not all of it's good. And then we acquired the Zaring division, or Zaring company, and we went into a bunch of cities, and they had division president. So Bill ended up going back to the production side, becoming a production manager, and then we started getting hot in Washington, D.C., and so naturally we put Bill in Washington, D.C., and he was a production manager, and the anchor up there, really the only one that knew all of our Dreesisms and anchored us up there. And then got really hot down there, and then we started to go through the downturn, and then we were hot in Austin, so he went down to Austin and became the construction manager down there. And then since then he was a builder, and then in Austin, and then Leslie said, hey, I want to be close to my son, Mr. Kickstand, and grandbabies. And so she said, I'm going to Dallas without you, so now I'm going to Dallas. So I think that's pretty close. Yeah, pretty close.
That's a story.
I'll be the Drees historian sometime. I'll keep that fit. I do have a fish story, because if any, raise your hand in here if you actually know Bill Kick. I mean, I just want. Okay. So for all of you that raise your hand, you'll believe this story. For the rest of you, you won't. So one of the reasons that Bill and I got close is we both like to fish, and we like to fish for bass and for big bass, and that's about all we would talk about. So I'm up in Cincinnati. We don't have big bass up there. You got big bass in Texas, but everything is big in Texas, right? And he's in Texas, and he's talking about, hey, we need to go here, we need to go there. And I like going to this lake outside of Dallas called Lake Fork. And he said, you need to venture out. You need to go down to Lake Falcon with me. He said, they're huge. Did you say they're absolutely huge? And he said, and I told him I was going to be in town for a conference, and then he said, well, you don't have to worry about a thing. I got it covered. He said, just show up. I got everything covered. I got the truck, I got the gas, I got the food, I got the lodging, I got the boat. You don't even have to bring any tackle. You don't have to bring anything. I said, all right. So I get done with the conference. He picks me up. We're driving south on 35 to go through San Antonio. And the night before, or a couple nights before, my wife said, "No, you're going fishing. Where are you going?" And I said, "Lake Falcon." And she said, "Don't you know someone got killed there last week?"
Oh God.
And that's where you're going. So I got chewed
Yay.
on. And I got chewed on. He was like, "Where are you going?" So I said, "Well, I'm going fishing. We're going for big fish." So anyway, we're going down to Lake Falcon. It's on the Mexican border, and we get out on the lake and we're fishing, and I hear a boat that doesn't sound like a bass boat, and I turn around, and it's a Coast Guard with 50 caliber machine guns on it.
Jeez.
Patrolling back and forth, and this is where Bill took me fishing.
It's really safe here.
You're casting, you're looking over your shoulder, and you're casting. I guess that, on the other side of the lake is Mexican cartel and all that stuff. So anyway, the things we do to go fishing. But then we get done fishing that first night, and he said, we'll go back to the lodge, and we show up at this place. And it had to be built in the 1920s, but it wasn't built to our standards. It has never been maintained since then. And it was pretty rough. In fact, I didn't sleep that night, but it was the roughest place that I've ever not slept in my life. Rough. I mean, cockroaches on the wall. But that's not the best part. So he said, I got this new way of cooking deer meat. He says, all you got to do is microwave it for 30 seconds and it'll be good. That doesn't sound right.
It is.
It's good.
It's good. It's great. He says it's great. So, but he didn't bring any utensils. He's got the cooler full of meat. He's got all this stuff. He's like, I don't have a pot to marinate it in. I don't have anything. And there was nothing in this, whatever you call it, that we were staying. And he said, he's going to microwave it, right? So you can't put metal in the microwave. He said, get that coffee pot over there and start unscrewing the handle off of it. And so I'm taking the coffee pot apart, and we're getting down to just glass. And he's mixing it up. He's putting deer meat in this. And then he takes it, puts it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, then pulls it out and said, "Here, try this." So
It was great.
So I didn't sleep that night. Bill did. Next night we come back and he's like, "I got dub for you." So he put those in. He put those in the coffee pot. And we took those. I just couldn't wait to get back to Cincinnati. And I think back to that, like I said, whatever it was, and whoever stayed there after us, and what that first pot of coffee was going to take.
That's a great story.
Anybody else want to come over?
100%. There's not a single lie in that story. That's the truest story I've ever heard in my life.
So I'm Bud Kick. I'm Bill's younger brother.
Yeah.
And I want to,
if I was a comedian, I'd love to roast him. I mean, you guys that raised your there is so much material to roast him on that we could be here all night long. But I'm not much of a stand-up comedian, so I have a few things I want to say about him to see if what I think about him compares to what you guys have learned about him. Before I get into that, I want to acknowledge this table here, the group of people that have traveled here and are here with us to visit with Bill and celebrate this great ceremony. So first of all, and I'm not going to have you stand, just raise your hand. His mother, my mom, Joan Kick, is here. My sister traveled with us, Nancy, she's here. Her son, Chris, and Kelly are locals here, they live around here. Of course, Leslie, his lovely wife, is here. And Krista are here. His dear friend Harvey and Laura are here. I have to mention David and April also are very special. So what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about some of the characteristics of him. So this is kind of the serious side of me, but after having listened to Matt, I do have a couple stories. So I'll save those for the end. And I love, talking about millennials, particularly to a crowd of people like all of you who are celebrating folks who have been with the company for 25 years. When you start talking about people who've been with the company for 25 years, you're starting to talk about a word like loyalty. Loyalty is a very rare characteristic in today's business world. It has a lot to say about the individual. It has a lot to say about Drees. It's a two-way street. I was with the company for 29 years. I can talk about that, and I know how much this company means to him and how much he means to you guys. I think loyalty is a huge thing, and I think it's something that the millennials can think about and just keep in mind. The second thing that I'd like to talk about is how excited I am that he's making the transition from the field into sales. This is fantastic. There couldn't be a better time for him to drop the damn hammer. I'm telling you. But I'm going to tell you, in a serious way, what he's going to be like in sales is going to be phenomenal, because the word trust enters in. With his base of knowledge, in an office, customers coming in, listening to his knowledge and his wisdom, they're going to trust him like it's unbelievable. I mean, there's another compliment to Drees for being smart enough to let him go into sales. You're not giving him a break. You guys are going to take tremendous advantage of what he's going to do for you in sales, because you can develop that trust based on the knowledge that he has. It's unbelievable. It's a great one for him. And we're really happy as a family to see him going into sales. Everybody knows Bill was a Marine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was a Marine.
What did they say?
But, well, in all the years that he and I have talked about, there was a time when he came out of boot camp and he was a hot shit, and he came home one time. And we went for a 2-mile run, and we ran up this road called Braddock Road.
Yeah.
And he ran like this around me. All the way down the road, 2 miles. I ran straight, and he ran circles around me all the way up the road. So, but during that run, he taught me about a serious word. He told me a story about integrity that he learned about when he was in the Marine Corps. And I've told him this a million times. I've never forgotten this definition of integrity that he learned in the Marine Corps. And that was doing the right thing when nobody knows you're doing it. That's Bill Kick. Okay. That's what I love about the man. He taught me that word. He learned it in the Marine Corps, but he's lived and breathed that all his life. So that's phenomenal. The next thing that's important to him is family. But in all the years I've known him, he really never was much of a ladies' man, quite frankly. With the exception of Leslie, who's the beautiful Leslie, we are so grateful that she took him under her wing. Took control of him and still controls him to this day.
I don't know how that happened.
But you know, when it comes to ladies, the reason he was never much of a ladies' man because he never had time for the ladies. You know, he says he loves his wife dearly. He loves his boys. He loves his daughters. He's got his grandchildren. He's got these tremendous friends. He loves to fish. He loves to hunt. He has no time for the ladies. And I thank Leslie to God and just keep him that way for us, okay? Just keep him busy. Let him go damn do his damn fishing and hunting. And it'll be cool. I think that would be great. But you know, the last thing that I always love talking, he and I talk on the phone quite a bit, it's just random calls. It's like two best friends. You don't need to be in touch with each other. You just pick up the phone. And when we call, what I love doing is talking to him about his job. Okay, and this is another story to the millennials as well. I love talking to the millennials about this. And when I've, in my years, and all of you in this room have done interviewing of candidates with your company over the years, this is one thing that it's always been really important to me. Somebody who got so far as to have an interview with your company, with Dree's, the technical expertise has been taken for granted or you wouldn't be there, okay? What differentiates those candidates and why they get hired at Dree's or they ever got hired by me or any of the people you do, in my perspective, has been attitude. Look at Bill. Everybody knows what his technical expertise is, but look at Bill's attitude. His attitude is unbelievable. That's what differentiates the people today. And I am very proud to say that I've got two millennials sitting right at this table, right here, Chris Rasson and Kyle Kidd, to epitomize that same characteristic. They've got this tremendous technical expertise, which when you talk to me, I go, yeah, that's cool. We assess that really quick. But then we really quickly get down to what really makes a difference, and what's really going to make you successful, and what made him successful is your attitude. It's how people receive you, it's how you treat people. When you talk with Bill, whether it's on the job or in the family, he's teaching you about stuff, he's talking about stuff about his house, everything he knows. He's not really talking about himself. He's really talking to you to help you either A, make a better decision about what house you want to buy, or he's helping you think through the information you need to know to make a decision. It's all about you. It's not about him. So that's what's really important to me when it comes down to what he's done. The difference with him is attitude, and that's been really important to me in all that, and I'm sure it has been with all of you guys. In closing, I will tell you a couple stories. You know, we flew in here yesterday. I've been here 24 hours, and I mean, he's wearing me out. You know, we've been spending a lot of time together privately. That's what the whole purpose was. We've been out fishing today. And I'll tell you guys, Matt was going down this path about stories and fishing and stuff. I'm going to tell you two stories that I've only heard in the last 24 hours. And one of them was about Matt. You know, Bill's got this new fishing boat. And he's got this blue piece of tape running on the dashboard. And he's got how big the fish were on the dates and whoever's got the biggest fish, and he marks it on us. It has to be over a certain way. He's got this one fish that was caught in like April of this year. Matt apparently caught this fish.
Twice.
That's right.
And this story this morning, 4:30 in the morning, and he's looking at the boat. And this Matt guy, and he caught this big fish, and we threw it back in, and he threw it out again. He caught the same damn fish twice. You can only hear that in Texas. This is unbelievable. But everybody says it's true, and Matt says it's true, and Bill says it's true. If they believe it, it's that all that really matters. The second story is more of a hunting story. It's, you know, we get into these discussions about killing deer with rifles versus killing deer with bows and all this kind of stuff. He's telling me this story about how he was out to go after this big buck. And he went to a special place to get it. This guy that he had hired to take him around was helping him set things up so he could get this deer. The day wasn't going all that well, and so at the end of the day, they ended up going back to the hotel, and the guy says, "No, we're not done." I'm telling you guys, this story was told to me. This is an absolute true story. According to Bill. This guy says, "No, we're not done. We're just going to go back to the hotel and we're going to hunt from the hotel."
From the lodge.
Okay?
From the lodge.
So they go up into the lodge of this place. Envision this. They go up to their room. They open the window.
Oh no.
He says, sitting there on the bed, is his rifle and his bow and a vodka tonic. And lo and behold, as sitting in this lodge in their bedrooms, this deer finally approaches the lodge. The guy says, "You got this, Bill?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bill, anybody can shoot it with a rifle, right? But he wanted to shoot it with a bow. And the guy says, "You got this, Bill?" He took over his vodka tonic, went, boom, boom, I got this. He put that bow up there and pulled that thing back and fired it. He said, "I drilled it right between the eyes."
Oh, of course.
And I laid it down. Okay, I added that part.
You added that
But Bill could say that. That's what I remember. But that, and I could go on and on and on with these kind of stories. But what was really more important for me was not to be a funny guy, but to talk to you about the important characteristics of what it takes, and to really compliment you guys at Dree's for the wonderful life that he's had here with Dree's, and I hope the wonderful life that he's giving you. So congratulations, Bill.
Wow, I kind of like family.
Thanks.
Anybody back there?
No more. Here it
Oh,
comes.
yeah.
Gotta be in Mexico.
Uh-oh. He knows.
For those of you who don't know me, I've worked with Bill for about 10 or 12 years, maybe 15. But I've got two things I want to tell you about Bill. His brother talked a lot about integrity and what the other term he used. But I've got to tell you about the other side of Bill. When I hired on, I hired out as a construction man. And as Matt said, that Bill had been down here, moved down here in '94. And he was hired by Hank Steining, as was I. And it takes a little while for me to come on board for some reason. Anyway, when I finally come to work, Bill's my counterpart in the other side of town. And I started looking at these reports and stuff, and the names don't match who is on my side of town. Well, I say something to Bill about this, and he says, "Well, I moved some people around." So it was 30 days. He got here 30 or 45 days before I got here, if I remember correctly. But anyway, he said, "Well, I moved some guys around." So what he had done is he went out and cherry picked all the builders that he wanted on his side and transferred them over to his area and gave me the other guy. So that's a little bit of insight.
Exactly right.
Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I can't remember which trip this was, but Bill gets transferred to Austin. And some of you guys, most of you guys probably know, who's a little trickster? Jeffco.
Jeffco, yeah. Sean, yeah.
So, Sean,
No, that was Packers.
I'm down there. Bill shows up. Sean says, "Here's your computer." He gives him this laptop. I think laptop at that time. But anyway, Bill says, "What's the password?" Jeff says, "What's the password?" And he says, "It's Jeffco says it's Gormy." He said, "Gormy?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Who used the name Gormy for a password?" "I don't know." Well, Jeffco was a military guy also, but he happened to be an Army guy. So he sets up Bill's iPad with, or his computer. It was Go Arm.
Oh.
Bill says, or Jeff goes, that's why they call them jarheads.
Scary.
Here it was. There's the sound. And I don't know exactly if I'm telling the story right, but I'm in the closing department, and I had talked to somebody, I think it was the Highlands of Russell Park maybe, and the builder apparently didn't have a CO from the city, but the hostess told me he did. I get a call from Bill, nice, kind Bill. What did you do telling those people it was okay to release those keys to this house? These people are in the house, and we don't even have a CO. Now we got to get an inspector from the city of Plano in here, make arrangements. Don't ever take the word of the hostess again. You make sure you talk to the builder. I think right after that, they passed this new procedure that all COs had to be into closing, or else that house didn't close, and the people got the keys. And I don't know if you remember that story or not, but I was like, okay, I won't do that.
We had our management conference this week, and so Dave Hosfeld was there. Dave was division manager in Raleigh, and he was really good friends with, y'all were good friends with the he said, we're really good friends with the Kick family, and so we'd go to the picnics and all that, and so Dave has 2 daughters, and they had a crush on the Kick boys. And so years after when Bill moved, and they get their Christmas cards, they were always anxious to get the Christmas cards to see what it was. And to Bill's credit on something else, I guess Dave was with a realtor this week, and it would have been 8 years ago or so that you were there, maybe longer. Said, well, how's Bill Kick doing?
15 years ago.
Did he tell you?
Yeah, he sent me an email.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
A couple other things. This is from Connie Hintosh. I was about 2.5 months into Dree's employment when I moved to my second community I was to open. I was working with a buyer who had some serious budget constraints, and I needed someone to walk the lots with me to make sure we were pricing him on the flattest lots. Remember the Austin, there's not many flat lots. My builder was not available when the construction manager from my side of town was out on vacation. I was told to give Bill Kick a call, so in a desperate bid, as I knew he was across town in a very busy subdivision, I gave him a ring. He readily agreed to come out and help me, and boy did he. He not only walked one, but all my lots for me, and he did it in over 100 degree weather. I was so impressed with his knowledge and his general willingness to help a fellow employee without gain to himself that I came to respect Dree's even more as a company for retaining such a great person. That's Bill. All right, Mike.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm obviously the guy that knew Bill the best because he's always been in my region, and I always had a lot of fires. And so when you talk about Bill, he started with us as a builder in Washington, D.C. He also worked in our land department in Washington, D.C. And then with Hank Steining, Dallas was starting to really grow in the 90s, and we really had some problems with our building procedures. So Hank Steining came in, and they brought Bill. So that's fire number 1 for Bill. Then we started doing really well in Dallas. So instead of letting Bill stay in Dallas, I went to Bill and said, you know, there's some good opportunity in Raleigh. You really would like it. I mean, we got trees there. It's going to be fun. We got trees there. And our production sucks. So anyways, so Bill and Leslie got in their car, and they went to Raleigh. And then shortly after Bill got there, we needed a division president. And, you know, Bill had no knowledge what that really meant, which probably helped me. And he said, yeah, I'll do it as long as I can. Well, we bought the Zaring company, so then that left an opportunity for Bill to go to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. in the around 2004, 2005 was our very, very best division ever. We never made so much money in the company, but we really didn't know how to build houses there. So Bill came in, he would stay there 5 nights a week. I think actually you stayed at 2-week cycles.
Yeah, right.
So thank you again, Leslie. Then we got through that cycle and said, gee, Bill, I could use a little help in Austin. Again, the Marine on the land there and help us a lot. So I used to get teased by Ralph all the time that, man, you're the traveling guy, Rubric. No, I'm not the traveling guy. This guy's traveling guy. But as you look at the success of the Dree's company in all these years, it's based on people like Bill Kick. He really jumped in and really sacrificed to do a really good job. So, Bill, I appreciate your effort. Thank you.
While he's walking up, I'll add one thing to Bill. I always heard these stories about Bill Kick, and I started years after he left and went on to his Raleigh and northward. And one thing that I kept hearing about is Bill this, Bill that. Who's this Bill guy? Well, I ended up getting this opportunity to go to D.C. to work for about 6 months. So I'd fly up there on Monday and fly home on Thursday or Friday. And they're like, well, hook up with Bill. He's got the hotel set up. Y'all can do your deal. I'm like, all right. So I'm up there helping builders do this, and he's managing his guys and doing all that. And we end up having a phenomenal time. Bill and I had some good times in D.C. and the weeknights and all that stuff. But then I ended up leaving, and it was years that I didn't see Bill. And then got moved to Austin. It was an awesome time, and then now he's back. We're working together. And couldn't be a better deal. So congrats, Bill.
Come back.
Give him the mic.
No, I
You
don't.
know what
Thank you very much.
One last thing, and I should have done this earlier. Lanny, would you come up and introduce your table?
Okay, yeah.
I didn't get to on that.
Well, I know. That's the best looking table.
Yeah, exactly. That's my wife, Carolyn. If you'll stand up, Carolyn. 50-something years.
Wow.
This is my oldest daughter, Kelly Kay.
One more granddaughter.
One more granddaughter and 2 great granddaughters.